Very good. One thing I was going to ask you about, because
Yeah.
regular listeners may remember that a while ago we spoke about a special edition of Empire magazine,
Oh yes.
which was based purely upon the work and life of Christopher Nolan, who we speak about a little bit on this show.
Gets mentioned from time to time.
He does. He comes up from time to time.
Yeah.
A little bit of a fan of his work. Anyway, that magazine came out, what, a month, 6 weeks ago?
I thought it was longer. I thought it was
and
longer.
I got to say, I trawled the shops in my local area, couldn't find one. Tried to buy one online directly from Empire. Within like days, said it was sold out.
Yeah.
And then Stefan very kindly messaged me when he'd been through the airport, I think.
Yeah, at Stansted Airport. Yeah.
Saying, they've got copies here. Do you want me to buy you one? I was like,
Yeah.
that's very kind of you, Stefan. Very kind of you indeed.
I'm a nice guy.
And then a few days later, I went on my holiday and went to some newsagents in St Pancras train station. Things like bloody buses. Even to, like, honestly, there was about I saw about half a dozen copies that were just sat there waiting to be bought. So
Yeah.
I bought one of those myself as well. And then even coming back yesterday, back through St Pancras, I was in one of like the tiny little WH Smith that's up on like the East Midlands platform at the top.
Yeah.
Like this honestly, this WH Smith's like the size of my bedroom. It's tiny. They had about 10 copies in there as well.
Oh, what?
Where have they been storing all these copies?
Do you think they did like a second run of it or something?
Maybe. I don't know.
Because they were scarce.
They were
I remember
very
you saying
scarce.
they were scarce.
They're very scarce. I don't know if the first lot came with like extra bump in it, like a poster and stuff like that. I don't know.
You think?
Do they still
Special
do things like
edition?
that? Posters
I've no idea.
and sticker books and things like that.
The only time I ever go into a newsagent is at airports.
Yeah.
So
To get an overpriced bottle of water.
yeah, yeah, possibly whatever the latest John Grisham is for the journey, but depends. He's usually got 2 or 3 new novels out between holidays.
Yeah.
So-
Lovely.
But that
Lovely.
was it.
Well, did you read the Christopher Nolan special?
I've had a flick through.
You've had a flick.
Read about. Yeah, I've had a bit. I mainly when I go for magazines, I like reading the little breakout articles.
Yeah,
you know, they'll have like a box with a little something
they do.
going on.
They know that's what you're there for.
I like that. Yeah,
They deliberately put it with like slightly different text and a bit of a fancy thing on it.
Draws your eye to it.
Indeed.
So I went through and I read quite a few of the little boxes.
Good.
But I didn't get stuck into too much of the meat. But I've got that to come.
I've read about half of it so far.
Are you just going cover to cover?
That's the way I read things.
That's
I
how
do
you
the same
do
with
it.
books. I get about halfway and it's like, right, I'll come back to that in 2 years' time.
Let's put that down for a little bit.
Yeah, so I read. I'm just going through it chronologically because I could just skip straight to the Batman stuff.
Yeah,
and Inception and all that sort of stuff. But I managed to avoid the temptation mainly because like I haven't actually seen Memento.
You've never seen Memento?
No,
Goodness.
which I must correct.
Yeah, you must. It's a great film.
So I will go back and watch that. But I was quite intrigued by the article about his influences. Now there's some quite, I don't know if you read this bit, but there's
I might have done.
there's some quite obvious things on there, or not obvious, but things like you see them on that list and you're not surprised by it. So like 2001's on there,
Yeah.
Heat is on there,
Yeah.
but then there was one film that I was shocked it was on there, but it gave me great delight and made me feel like I was connected to Christopher Nolan somehow. The film was Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift.
Oh, I did read that. Yeah.
I saw that, honestly, because I messaged one of our friends. I was going to message you, but I didn't think it would be quite as I messaged one of our other friends who also loves that film.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is, honestly, it made me so happy because honestly, it's that film, I guess that film came out sort of mid-2000s.
Yeah.
And I was basically, I've always considered it a bit of a guilty pleasure. I say
Right.
a lot of a guilty pleasure.
Lots.
But I genuinely love it. I've always thought I've watched it. I'm going to say I've probably watched it a couple of dozen times,
Wow, really?
and I really have enjoyed it each time. And when I saw it on the list and him describing it, he said, "Oh, you might be surprised, but like Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
By the way, start with number 3."
Yeah, he did. He said start. Yeah.
I was like, Oh my! And I agree. I would say exactly the same thing. I think
Really?
I think that film, if you take the rest of it, and I know it's a little bit, if you're a big fan of that franchise, it's a bit sacrilegious because there's no Paul Walker, and Vin Diesel is basically a cameo right at the end.
Right.
But yeah, honestly, I think it stands out from the rest of those films as well. And when I saw that Christopher Nolan felt the same way, I was like, oh my god,
No, I did think that was very random.
I feel vindicated.
No, I'm glad you feel that. My feelings about that film are I haven't watched a Fast and Furious film since that film.
Oh, because
So
you didn't
that-
like it.
That probably tells you how I felt about that one.
You're like, I don't watch any more of this shit.
It was, yeah, I was kind of done with the franchise at that point. I was like, come on, guys, come on now. Come on.
No, I think that film is one of those things for me personally. Like I say, I would still watch it now. I'm not saying I wouldn't at all. It just, I think, one of those very much right time, right place. Because I think as well there was like, it came out at a time when myself and said friend as well, we were both single. He particularly loved his cars.
Yeah.
And like we were even like to the point where like looking at flights to Japan and stuff. Like, this must be what life in Japan's like. We'll just go to Tokyo. This is what people our age do in Tokyo, right?
This is it. I need to be with my people.
I need to go and go drifting.
Dear. My recollection of that film is he's like some redneck guy,
Drift.
and he's like, oh, yeah, and he's sort of,
He is. He's really over the top.
he's going around car parks sideways and
Yeah.
all sorts of nonsense.
He
and-
sounds like a fucking moron. I mean, they're all school
Yeah.
kids as well. It's like they're literally like you've got like Yakuza and school kids, and it's
Yeah.
like, come
Yeah.
on. But
It's like the only bits of Japan that the West knows about is
exactly.
they got weird schoolgirls and weird gangsters. And that's basically it.
weirdly dressed schoolgirls that are kind of there to be seductive or something. I don't know. It's all a bit uncomfortable,
It's all a bit weird, that.
but it's
isn't
a
it?
great fucking film. So anyway,
Well, I'm glad you got so much out of that.
indeed, and like the fact that I hope that Christopher Nolan was being sincere. I believe he is. Like, I don't think he'd be a dick about it.
No, he doesn't strike me as a, that like he would just put that in for shits and giggles.
No, I don't. I think he's genuinely
He's serious about his craft. isn't he?
Exactly. He wouldn't undermine it.
No.
So there was that. Because of lack of practice and stuff, I've missed off loads of things that we should have done far earlier than quarter of an hour into the show. But we're going to be we are going to get on to discussing stuff about Star Wars in a
Yeah,
bit.
we're a
We
bit
will-
rusty. We're having a catch up.
Indeed. We will talk
We haven't
about-
actually properly talked since the last time we recorded. Have
We
we?
have not conversed other than by
Just
message.
text messages,
We have been in
so-
the same country, but
Opposite ends.
like you said in your message, as far as Italy would allow us to be
Yeah.
apart, we were apart.
we were completely opposite ends of the country.
So-
loving it.
Indeed. But alas, we are going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about some other things. Stephanie's going to offer up something for the Second Chance Cinema Club, which is now returning, now that we haven't got any
back.
new Star Wars to talk about. Not for a few weeks, at least.
No.
But we will get to that in a bit, and maybe we'll talk about how much coverage we might give to that.
Okay.
We shall see. If
Sounds
you
like
do,
production meeting.
well, we'll have a live production
live
meeting
production
on air.
meeting.
If you want to get in touch with us, if you're listening on your mobile phone or on a tablet, at the top of the episode description, there is a thing that says send us a message. If you want to email us, it's aloneinsouthpassage@gmail.com, or you can find us on Instagram at @AITSP_podcast. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, just comment on the video underneath like you do for everything else. And be nice. And if you can't be nice, at least get some clicks. That'd be nice. Right, so that's that. One thing I did want to mention about my trip, just before we get off of the Christopher Nolan stuff, which is important. It is important. While I was away, we were in Paris for a couple of days, and I ticked off something I think it's maybe the third, possibly the fourth, maybe third time I've been to Paris. And each time I've been, I've wanted to do something in Paris that I haven't yet been able to do until this week. And that was visit the Pont de Ber Hakim. Now, you might be thinking, what the fuck is the Pont de Ber Hakim?
Yes.
And thinking, well, didn't you visit the Louvre and the Eiffel Tower and the whatever else there is in Paris?
Palace of Versailles.
Palace of Versailles. No, it's too far away. It's too far out, that one. Didn't have time for that.
Get a train.
I know, but it's too far out for that one.
Okay.
Too far out for we were literally there for like 36 hours or something. Too far out for that. But the Pont de Ber Hakim, for those who speak French will know that pont means bridge. It is the bridge that was used in Inception.
And birth means beef, doesn't it?
Burr. B-I-R. B-I-R.
Oh, I thought you were saying birth.
Birth. Pont de Birth.
Pont de Birth. Beef bridge.
Pont
That's my
de
kind of bridge.
Bear.
Bear.
Hakim.
Okay.
Which is the bridge that was used when I can't remember the character's name, when she's learning how to world build.
Yeah.
And he says, don't use the real stuff because you'll lose grip of reality.
Yeah, this is Inception, by the way.
I said it was Inception, did I not?
Well, now we're in Inception, so it's like
Oh, God.
double.
we're a podcast within a podcast.
Well, yeah, we've gone completely meta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Apologies.
So anyway, so that was that. I may have forgotten to say it, but if you're wanting to visit that, bridge and you haven't got the power to just go onto Google and say Inception Bridge Paris, which is as much as you need to do to be able to find it. It is the next bridge. If you're travelling, hang on, which direction we're going to be going in. If you're travelling west along the Seine,
Yeah.
once you pass, it is the next bridge you come to after you pass the Eiffel Tower.
Were you insane?
Insane in the membrane. No, I was not insane. I was put off by all the stories from the Olympics. I did not go for a swim. It was just about healthy enough for the athletes to swim in.
Yeah.
But no, there's a lot of cool stuff going on in Paris because obviously the Olympics and then the Paralympics start this week.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was nice to go there because I'll be honest. We got the train. Or the RER bit that runs. It's not quite the metro, but we got the train from sort of Notre Dame to. The whole point of going that way is because my daughter wanted to go and see the Eiffel Tower and stuff like that. I mentioned, so I dragged my wife and daughter a little bit further. It wasn't much further. It's like a 5-10 minute walk. But we also saw the original Statue of Liberty, which is around that area as well, which I'd not seen before.
I've not seen that.
No, I mean if you've seen the Statue of Liberty in New York, it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. You'd have
a lot smaller.
Would probably be bigger billing for Paris.
Yeah, it's about 12 feet tall, I think.
Okay.
But
so you could touch the top of it then.
Yeah, just with a little jump.
Yeah, if you were on my shoulders, we'd be taller than it, basically.
No. But it's so it's not enormous by any stretch of the imagination. It might be a little bit taller than 12 feet. But it is the original, alas. So also
Very nice.
Also designed by Gustave Eiffel, I believe.
That's nice.
Yeah, so I went and had a look at that. But yeah, the main point of that story was the bridge from Inception, which is it's just a cool thing to see.
It is. Yeah, I was very excited when I saw that picture you sent me.
Yeah. There's a few people around there, but I don't know how many of them knew what it was.
Did you go around like shaking them?
Do you know? Oh, there was
Do you know what this is?
Oh, there was some twats there trying to like, you know how there seems to be this thing now where people like go on holiday just to take posy pictures of themselves, so they could put it all over their socials.
There's a lot of that.
I mean, there were people like some bloke was like, so my wife. Bear in mind, this is a public walkway.
Yeah.
And we walked into the back of someone's shop, and this bloke's like, Madame, and I just looked at him and was like, fuck off, mate. We're walking across the bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to go and stand on the railing just so we're not in the back of your shot.
Yeah, exactly. No time for that. When I was in Paris in October for the Rugby World Cup, we were in a hotel just the other side of the river from the Eiffel Tower. We had to cross those bridges quite a lot.
Ooh.
And there was a lovely bit where you're on the bridge and you could see the whole of the Eiffel Tower kind of lovingly in the distance. and for some reason it seemed to be a real hotspot for Japanese tourists in wedding outfits.
Yes. This is you're not aware of this craze.
This?
You're not aware of
No,
this
it's a new thing for me.
So
I
basically,
didn't know that was
you
a
take
thing.
you take your wedding dress and your suits or whatever on your honeymoon, and
Yeah,
you get some more shots done.
pretty cool.
It's quite cool, but like it's a lot of extra luggage.
That's a lot. Yeah, you're not normally taking your wedding dress on your honeymoon, are you?
No,
Not normally.
So not normally, not on all the honeymoons I've ever been on. I don't take my
many,
wedding dress.
many. No, I never. No, leave it at home. Don't need it. I just the bikini. That's all I need. But the other good thing about Paris is if you've seen John Wick 4, you pretty much everywhere you go, you're like, oh, that's in John Wick 4. Oh, and that, and that, and that. It's like they covered the whole city in that film, I think.
Indeed. To be honest, it did make me want to rewatch the Da Vinci Code.
Oh yes,
I know that it's not.
for the Louvre.
Yeah, just everywhere really. I think it's.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know that and Angels and Demons. Divide opinion, shall we say, on who
They're
likes
good
what.
fun though.
They are good fun. This is the point for me.
Their story.
They're fun. They're fun,
Yeah.
and they do walk you through the story very nicely.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Indeed.
I was a big fan at the time. The books as well. They're easygoing.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
They're quite clever. You know?
Yeah,
They're quite. This is the thing. They've done all the hard work for you. Why would they get you to do it as well?
exactly.
So, indeed. One thing on leaping seamlessly from Inception, and there is a link because of Joseph Gordon-Levitt. While I was away, obviously doing a lot of travelling on trains, so lots of time to watch things and do whatever else.
Yes.
Snowden. Have you seen that?
Snowden.
It's
No.
the film about the NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden. Do you remember the guy who he now resides in Russia purely because he got stuck there because the US cancelled his passport?
Who did he blow the whistle on?
The NSA, National Security Agency.
Oh, okay.
So basically,
Sounds familiar.
I think it happened in like 2013 or something. He basically came out and told the world what the US was doing with intelligence and how they were hacking
Yeah.
everyone's emails and
Yeah, that's right.
all that kind of stuff. And then he travelled to Russia with the plan to travel to somewhere in South America that had non-extradition treaty, didn't have an extradition treaty. And then while he was in Russia, the States cancelled his passport, so Russia then wouldn't let him travel. So he now lives in Moscow, which up till 2 years ago was not ideal, but probably okay. And now it's just, I don't know what the last couple of his years have been of his life have been like. But
That's a
very,
shit show.
very, if you haven't seen it, it's currently available on Prime, and it is a very interesting film.
Okay. I'll
Very
look out for
interesting
that.
film.
I was going to say the same thing. Actually, I had plenty of time on flights recently to consume media. So I went through the whole of The Gentleman on Netflix, which is the
the series.
Guy Ritchie series.
How is it compared to the film? Because I enjoy the film.
I didn't even know there was I didn't know there was a film.
Oh, yeah, it's based
It
on a
was
film with Matthew McConaughey,
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Charlie
But
Hunnam.
it's a very, very good series. I really, really enjoyed it.
Enjoyable.
Very enjoyable.
I think with my opinion with Guy Ritchie stuff is I don't think anyone could ever accuse him of writing real characters. I feel like they're all massive caricatures, aren't they? They're always
Yeah.
I
They
feel
all
like
talk the same. They all use like long words, but with East End accents.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
I feel like there's definitely I would like a psychologist. They're always like, I feel like they're just basically an amalgamation of people that he would like to be himself if he could be.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
don't worry,
I
he's
think
doing
you're
all right. He's doing all right as he is. But like he's sort of, I think he writes characters that people, not necessarily him specifically, but like he writes characters that people would like to imagine that they could be for like a day and stuff. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, he's definitely got a style, and if you like it, then you're going to enjoy it. But and I did. There was some really good humour. There was some good twists, and it's well worth a watch for sure.
Yes, indeed.
I also finished The House of the Dragon,
Is that series 2?
series 2. Yeah, just finished.
Good.
Yeah, it's lost its way a bit. Lost its way a bit.
Did you? Because you're a fan of Series 1, right?
I thought Series 1 was really good. Yeah, really did like Series 1. Definitely some issues with it. I'll stick with it. You know, clearly there's going to be more. Well, I hope there is.
Tell me there's going to be more.
Yeah, I mean, come on, you can't just leave it there. Again, if you like that sort of stuff, you'll probably enjoy it. But the writing definitely wasn't as solid as the first one.
No.
But Matt Smith is excellent in it. He's so good,
as he is in so many things.
He is, yeah. Very, very, very enjoyable seeing him as a bit of a villain character. I do like that. I think that suits him.
Very good, very good.
So yeah, and I've been to the cinema a couple of times, as I know we will.
Yes,
discuss.
You have been to the cinema. You went to see. I know when we last recorded about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
We both promised that we would go and see Wolverine. And no, it's not
Deadpool and
Wolverine. I
Wolverine.
don't even know the name of the film. Deadpool and Wolverine.
I think you know which one of us didn't hold up their end of the deal.
Stefan didn't bother. No, I didn't.
Yeah,
Steph's seen it. I have not seen it.
Yes.
But if you, Steph, without giving any spoilers, and I will promise to go and see it this week.
Okay.
And we can do a spoilerific review next week. Spoilerific, what we think about it next week. Anything you can say that's not going to give too much away.
I really, really enjoyed it. I thought it was hilarious. It's a laugh out loud film, there's so few films that actually make me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
Not because I'm a miserable git. I think I just have high standards for comedy.
You are.
Clearly. But this, right from the first, and I'm sure you've seen clips and things of bits of it, but right from the start, it's the tone is just, I mean, how Disney let them make this is unbelievable.
There's some interesting stats when you say about how did Disney let them make this, right? So couple of things, a couple of articles I've come across this week or today, probably the last hour, quite frankly.
10 minutes ago.
Indeed. There's a couple of things. There's a character cropped up. I don't know if he's in any of the trailers or anything like that.
Possible spoiler then.
There's a little bit of a possible spoiler here. It's not
Okay.
too much, but if you've seen it, it's been in the media. It's not like it's new
Okay.
news. This film's 4 weeks old now.
Yeah.
Which I should
fair
mention. I should mention it's smashing the box office. It's
surprised.
at $1.1 billion
Whoa.
worldwide,
That's a
which
lot of
is
money.
only second this year to Inside Out 2, which is 1.6 billion.
Christ.
Some
I'm
of those
surprised
kids-
that did so well.
Kids' summer movie, isn't it?
I guess.
Yeah, that's what it's all
Blimey.
about. So that's doing very well. There's a couple of things, right? So Blade
Yes.
features in it. So it means
Yes.
Wesley Snipes, for kept playing Blade, now holds 2 Guinness World Records.
Oh, really?
Yes, two Guinness World Records. One is the longest running Marvel character, which I didn't realise Blade was a Marvel character, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Because, when the first films came out, I don't think it was even mentioned that they were Marvel. It was just
Well,
There's
that's
Blade films,
part of
aren't
the
they?
whole thing. Is it's bringing all these characters into the Marvel stable now. That's
Yeah.
why they're in the film. There's other cameos as well that do the same thing. They're ex Fox, because obviously Disney bought Fox as well,
Yes,
which
okay.
was so they've absorbed those other characters.
Ah.
There's more. It's not just Blade. I won't spoil
Okay,
it.
yeah.
There's some more.
But so Wesley Snipes held that record, which is a record he took from Professor X. Yes.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart, yeah, not Professor X. Professor X didn't hold the record. And it also meant that Wolverine or Hugh Jackman was going to take the record,
Right.
but Wesley Snipes has now beaten him by 2 years or something.
Oh.
So unless Hugh Jackman plays Wolverine again in like 3 years' time, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't think Hugh Jackman's going to make the film just so he can take that record.
Probably not.
Probably the $25 million would probably sway it for him or something. But then there's a second record, which is the longest time between playing the same character.
Okay.
He
Yeah.
set that record as well, which is a less surprising one, I think. A less surprising
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
On the subject of you saying that I can't believe they've let them make this.
Yeah.
There's an article that I've read this afternoon about how many fucks there are.
Oh,
How many fucks there are, and
must be a lot.
there's 116
Oh,
in a Marvel movie.
that's almost 2 a minute.
Yeah. Hang on a minute. Oh yeah. So, but there's a list here of films that have more.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, and these go in order. I was going to play a little game of higher or lower, but they all go. It goes higher every time. So,
Oh, really?
there's 116. So, Scarface
Yeah.
has 226.
It's a lot of fucks.
That's a lot of fucks. A lot of fucks. Pulp Fiction. It's 265.
Wowzers.
Don't be telling me about foot massages. I'm the foot fucking master.
Fucking master.
It's good to get close with them. Reservoir Dogs. You can. There's a little bit of a theme here with the who's directed this.
Yeah, a bit of a Tarantino theme.
Yeah, and then there's another director who takes over in a minute. Which director do you think might take over?
Scorsese?
Let's see when we get there, shall we? Reservoir Dogs, 269. The Big Lebowski.
Oh, there is a lot in that. You still haven't seen that, have you?
I watched it about.
You
month.
have seen
I watched it about a month ago,
Did you like it?
and I had seen it before.
Oh,
Don't like. It's one of those films I probably watched when I was like 14 on a random afternoon, and then kind of was paying
shelved
attention.
it.
Yeah, it was paying attention to other things really, and like
Yeah, fair enough.
260 in that.
Okay.
And according to Hollywood Reporter, their favourite or their best F-bomb quote from that is, "This is what happens, Larry. See what happens, Larry. Do you see what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass? This is what happens." Is that John
That's a good
Goodman's?
one. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's about the only character who would say that, right?
Yeah.
His
That's
character's
really funny.
brilliant in that.
Yeah, he's ex-military sort of guy, isn't
Yeah. He's just basically just got Steve
he? This is
Buscemi.
what happens.
Steve Buscemi walking around just getting bullied the whole time. Just
Yeah. Oh.
Straight out of Compton. It's 200.
okay.
No, it's not 200 and anything. It's 392. But that's just,
Wows.
then
Double lot of fucks.
then we get to Casino.
Oh, I knew it. Called it.
422.
Nice.
In the end, I had to put his fucking head in a vice.
Make me pop your fucking eye out for this.
For that fucking piece of shit. Then there's a film called Uncut Gems, which I've not seen.
Uncut Gems.
Safdie Brothers, acclaimed film starring Adam Sandler. It's got 560.
Wow.
Then the winner. I say the winner. The most. So another Scorsese film. A bit more recent. I think you might be able to guess.
The Departed.
No. The Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah.
569.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, literally every other word in that film is fuck.
Yeah. True.
I choose rich every fucking time.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you just become numb to it after a while. You don't even hear it, do you?
Oh,
Wow, that's an impressive bit of research.
well, it's all in one article. It was literally something I clicked on. So that is Deadpool and Wolverine related.
Yeah.
Right. That seems like an opportune moment to jump off, have a little break, come back, and then we can actually do some Star Wars news,
Okay.
which seems a ridiculous thing to say, but let's do it.